Good afternoon to the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, Dr. Aissatou Toure, to the two Honorable Ministers that are present here, that of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, and the Minister for Basic and Secondary Education. I want to extend greetings also to the President of the Gambia Football Federation, Mr. Kababajo, and the Executive Director of the National Sport Council, the two Vice Presidents of the Gambia Football Federation, Secretary General, Director of the Department of Youth and Sports, or Department of Programs and Planning. We have Her Excellency the Ambassador of CISA is here representing GCCI, the Deputy Permanent Secretary for Youth and Sports, responsible for Finance, and that of Minister of Finance as well, and to all the other protocols that are here. Good afternoon. I just want to first extend my very sincere apologies for the late start of the program. Unfortunately, we came in and we were caught up in a very quick meeting that I must say was not really planned for, and the Vice was asked to step in for the President, and we all had to be engaged in that at the latter minute. So that is the reason why we couldn't start as expected. We want to apologize on my behalf to all of you for having kept you waiting. Now, aside from that, I just want to extend our appreciation to the Vice President for coming in to formally inaugurate this committee on behalf of the President of the Republic, who have again engaged in a Security Council meeting today. And I also thank everyone who's been here or who is here and willing to serve in the committee. This is a voluntary national exercise that we are all committed to, and everyone who was reached out and identified to serve as a member agreed to do it without much questions. It is a sign or an indication of the commitment that all of us have to what is before us, which is a successful preparation of the Gambia and the Gambia national team specifically to go to AFCON and not just participate, but participate and come out with very respectable results. And I want to align myself with what the President said. Our team might be this is the first time we are going, but because of the record that the team under the management of the Gambia Football Federation and the coach Tom Senfeld have registered over time, and the improvements that they have made in their gradings at the FIFA level, we are hopeful that they would go there and do extremely well. I'm not sure where we're going to reach, but even if we reach the finals, it will be a deserved conclusion of the AFCON. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Honorable Ministers, it has been a long journey, and I'm not talking about the road to the qualification. That's a different thing. But since Gambia qualified, it's been some few months. And we've been working internally within ourselves and with the Gambia Football Federation to get this day and come and launch the committee. But for some technical reasons, and sometimes this is dealing with government, this event could not take place as planned. But we're happy that finally we have all gathered here to formally inaugurate this committee and officially launch the fundraising and all the other logistical arrangements that have been in place, or that has to be in place before time. But of course, I want to join the President in appreciating the efforts of every member of the Gambia Football Federation, correctly, and those who've been there previously, but also thank people who have worked in the different institutions that are responsible for the team, the Ministry, the Journalists Association, the National Sport Council, and all the works that have been done over the previous years and decades to get us to where we are today. The qualification was embraced by every Gambian, and we all acknowledge that despite the challenges and despite the limited resources and all the concerns that we face, even in terms of infrastructure, Gambia have made it to that continental level. But there is a bigger task, which is raising what is required in terms of funding. And yes, when you talk about figures, people don't really look at what is the underlying conditions or what are the underlying factors behind those figures. It is only figures that people look at. So when you say 100+ million, people are actually thinking about that can build us a hospital, that can buy us medicine for the hospitals, or that can build us schools, or somebody else might be thinking about roads and bridges. Yes, those things are important, but sport is also important. Because in as much as we're dealing with young people, they also have their interests. And sports is not just about the interests of young people, it's also about the economy and how it contributes towards the development of the economy. And the president made reference to how many number of players that we have who are outside. In this instance with football, we have a lot of Gambians who are playing in first division, second division, third division in clubs outside the Gambia. And each one of them is earning something that he or she uses to uplift his living conditions, that of his family and that of his community. But they're also contributing towards the GDP of the Gambia. So football is expensive. You're going to an unfamiliar territory in terms of the country, and you will have to accommodate people for the duration that they will be there. If we happen to reach the final or the semi-final, that is almost 3 weeks of hotel accommodation for the entire team. But each game they play, there must be some allowances that are paid to the players and to everyone. I don't want to go into all of those details because the president have done justice to that. But we want to say that the government, under the president, and here the leadership of the vice president, and of course you can see the representation of cabinet in here, is an indication that we are committed to the cause and we are ready to work with the Gambia Football Federation and all the other partners that are invited to raise the required funding while we leave the technical preparations to the Gambia Football Federation to take care of. And Your Excellency, I must say that the GFF have already started that technical preparations long since ago. I'm not sure, about 3 months or so since after the qualification, with the first training camp held in Turkey in July. And of course, one was supposed to be held at the moment that we are. Unfortunately, it could not happen, but we are preparing for the window of October so that whatever is needed in terms of financing and logistics will be put in place to ensure the team have another training camp and an eventual training camps just before they go to the AFCON in January. So I want to thank the president, the GFF and the Elizabeth president for that initiative of not just waiting for us, but going ahead to prepare. We will continue to work together as a ministry and as a federation and all the other stakeholders to ensure all the logistics, all the financing that is needed is put in place. At this point, I would want to, again, invite, I'm sure the Vice President will do that, but what is required is more than what government can provide, and that is the reality. So we want to ask the support of the private sector and the parastatals as well that are within government to come on board and support this process so that we will go to Cameroon and do great. And Gambia will again be at the global level. But again, our place can of course be scouted by scouts out there, and that means more income, more opportunities for our young people. On that note, Your Excellency, thank you for accepting to do this on behalf of the President, and we want to express our appreciation to all of you for having seated this long, and of course attending the event. Maybe 2 days or 3 days, we can all agree and kick off the meetings and all the arrangements that need to be placed. Thank you very much.